let's not dilly-dally. Let's get going, shall we? We're going to sort out this. This could take a while. Again, I don't have things to copy from. Here's one I made earlier. What I did do is just append the rocky material that we made in the procedural scene tutorial. And what I think I'm going to do is delete that. So, nope, don't. I'll show you what I deleted, which is the wrong thing. Delete the thing we made as the rock plane, and we're just going to start by pressing 1 to go into front mode, and then Shift 8, mesh plane, and we're gonna, where is it? It's up there. So, and then we're just gonna make it a little bit bigger, and then frame selected, view frame selected, RX90, rotate it on the X by 90, and then we want to add Rocky. So that's how it looked in the other scene, and at the moment, because there is no displacement, it's just that bumpy stuff. Although if you did want a rocky backdrop, there you go, you don't even need to displace it. Right, but we're going to. So first off, let's go back to edit mode, viewport edits, and then tab into edit, select all the vertices, subdivide, subdivide, subdivide. Scrap that. Control, Control, Control Z, Control Z. Let's actually yeah, don't Control Z. Subdivide, subdivide, subdivide. We're going to make, what we're going to use this plane for is to make the rest of the material, and then we'll put it on another object when we're ready. So that's been subdivided 3 times. We want to put a subdivision surface. Go to your modifiers and subdivision surface, and on my system I'm going up to 6. So if we now go to thingy mode, we now have the displaced rocks. But if, for example, ignore the fact this is tiny, imagine that this is that rock and Minas Tirith is here, like first level, second level, so it's just ignore the scale. Obviously, even if we lowered the displacement of that by going into the displacement of the rocky texture and going down to 0.2, because it's quite a flat wall, it's not a very blocky wall, that's not going to work. And also, even if we then tried to change the scale to make it look a bit like a cliff and put that up to 15, and again we're going to need to lower the displacement, but you can, I'm sure you can see already, it's not going to work. 0.1, 0.05, you know, that's not great. That looks nothing like a rocky surface. So what we have to do is change a few things. So let's just put that back to what I think it was on 0.2, and let's put the scale of the Voronoi down to 5. 3 will do. So we need some difference in this material. We can't have this pattern everywhere, so we need to mix in something else, and we're going to mix in another Voronoi, but much bigger. So we can just copy it. Copy that. I'll go in. Copy the Voronoi. Shift D, and let's put a color ramp. We can just duplicate any black and white one. You'll do. Shift D. Excuse me. And then drag that down. Plug the distance into there, and then Control Shift click that. So that actually looks alright. We might be able to get away actually with using these this coordinate for this as well, and that might save us the job of having to. Sweet, wicked. Okay, so we don't have to faff. Let's put the scale down to 1 now then. Okay, now we've got to work out the best way to mix these. I might even put in a mapping node here. So Shift A, vector mapping, plot that in there, and we're just going to change the scale of the Y axis just to give it a bit more flatness, I guess. There we go. Okay, so we've got to find the best way to mix these to get the best displacement. So at the moment the displacement is going into here from here, so we want to put in something here. We need to mix them here, and we can do that with a mix RGB, Shift A, color, mix RGB, drop that on there. By the way, this is where the fun starts, because I've no idea what this will look like at all. We'll see in a minute. And then we put that one in there, and again, because we only, well, I don't know, we'll see. I'm assuming that I only want the black, so I'll set that to multiply, which is there. And then if I control shift click this, we get this weird mess, and who knows what that's going to look like as displacement until we control shift click the principled. It looks like that, which is better. Could we get away with even lower scale on this one? Let's put 0.5, and we should probably bump up the displacement by going into that displacement node, 0.5. Wait a minute, mid-level, put the mid-level at 0. That's better. Okay, scale 10. That's the strength, basically. Woohoo! No, no, no. 7. 4. Blimey. 2. Okay, that's better. Now, this is me working out as I go, so I'm sorry if this is another slightly long one. What am I not happy with on that? The fact that when this scales, that's going to look horrific. Okay, I have an idea. So I'm going to tab into edit mode, and I'm just going to just need to see how this is going to look once I extrude. EX. You're not listening to me. EX. Why is this not? Hang on. Right, EX. I don't know why that wasn't working then. EX. I'm just testing a theory here, or not a theory. I just need to see what it's going to look like once we've made a shape and extruded. I have a feeling not great. Okay. There is a way to fix this. It means mixing in something else. So this is going to get a little bit more complicated, and a little bit longer, but it's necessary. So what I'm thinking is, you know, there are just lumps in little areas, and I don't want those lumps in that area. I also might want to control. Well, we'll do one thing at a time. Nick, one thing at a time. So, excuse me. I'm going to create a mask that says one of you can display here, the other one of you can display over here. Because at the moment we're mixing both. If I control shift click that, we're mixing both of these. So this one is the big bits, and this one is the smaller bits, and we're just basically multiplying them over the top, so just black on black. But what we might want to do is instead use a noise filter as a mask, and I'll show you how we do that. So shift A, texture, noise, put that there. We're going to want the same. Yep, we want to use these coordinates. No, I don't think that's important. We can just go straight from the texture coordinate into that. So just from the UV into there. We don't need all this stuff that's warping the coordinates. We just need to know what mapping we're looking at. So we've got the noise. Shift A on that color ramp. plug the noise into there, and let's have a look by Control Shift clicking. And then we're going to need to bring up the black. And as I say, what I'm trying to make happen is that where it's black, it'll probably be easier if I get it right. So I'm just going to up the scale. I've plugged that in the wrong thing. Shift right click, you get that. It saves us having to go all the way back over there, and then plug that into the vector. If you didn't do it, and I did, there we go. Okay, so now that scale is too high. So when we put this into the factor of this mix RGB, it's going to say that color 1 will be excuse me, will only display in these black areas. It won't display in the white areas. Color 2, which is the bigger ones, that will display in the white areas but not in the black areas. So you'll see what I mean once I put that in, and then we Control Shift click that. I can't show you too well actually because we've got the displacement up, but let's just see what that looks like. And it looks crazy. So let me just, that's why, mix. And that hasn't helped a great deal. 0.5. Okay, so when I say mix instead of multiply, that's how we get it to say whatever is color 1, it will display in certain areas, and whatever is color 2 will display in the other certain areas. But I think we need to do something with this color ramp. We probably want more contrast. So you see what I mean now. The more I drag these together, the more contrast between black and white. So if I show you the filter, you know, when it was over here, this is grey. It's not white. So this is a very smooth transition between these two, this black and white. But if we bring them right close together, it's a very definite display. One colour in the white and the other colour in the black. So now if we go back to that, now you can see exactly what it's doing. This one is the little bits, and this one is the big bits. Sorry, that's a lie. This one is the little bits. This one's the big bits, and then this one is that shape that's mixing between the two. Okay, so now if we go back to here, we have a lot more delightful look, which isn't going to look so dumb. Massive, but that actually is probably a little bit too much contrast. So I wonder if I change this to B-spline. I think that looks better. Yeah, and I think I'm going to lower the scale of the noise to maybe 1, maybe even bigger. 0.5, no, 0.8. So I'm just changing the shape of the mask. You can think of this that's going into the factor as a mask. If you use Photoshop, you get how they work. So that's nicer, but I could probably do with these bits coming out further than those bits. What we on 14, that's fine. So to do that, we're going to need to control this strength of this independently of this. So all we need to do is, before it gets into this mix here, no, not this one, sorry, the big ones, Control Shift. So we're gonna, I want this to be a bit stronger than this. This is overwhelming. This isn't doing so much, so I want a bit more oomph from that one. So I'm just going to Control Shift click the principled. So to do that, if I remember what I did before, maybe we want to Shift A, vector converter math, and do we need to separate the RGB? Let me just check if this works, because I don't know. Or yeah, multiply. I think it does, you know. No, multiply it double. Yes, it works. So as you can see, just by doing that, putting a multiply between the bigger Voronoi, by putting a multiply in, we're multiplying the black and the white. If that was clamp, I don't think it'd work. No, it still works. Clamp is supposed to keep irrelevant. Too much information, and Control Shift click that. So that's a bit more acceptable. And I'm going to lower the displacement to 0.2 and maybe up the strength of that again. Let's quadruple it. 6 it. Excuse me. That looks better. Yeah, okay. So obviously now it's tiny, so the easiest way I think we're going to do this is just to literally scale this up rather than anything else, because it will keep the scale of everything, so it will look the same big as it did small. But what we're going to eventually need is more subdivisions. So right, let's use that plane then. I wasn't expecting to, but we might as well. So I'm going to rotate and control, and what would be a useful thing to do is to object, set origin to geometry. That should put it in the middle so that it's not, yeah. And I can see clearly that's probably too much, but never mind. Okay, I'm going to press 3 to go into that side, and I'm going to scale it up some more. And I know that it reaches there, but not anywhere else. Maybe even scale it up a little bit more. GY, drag it back on the y-axis, and let's have a look. Okay, you see what I mean? Because we've scaled it up, we need more subdivisions for that to work. But in fact, what we can do is just lower the displacement amount to 0.08, and we might even need, we're going to need more subdivisions. So edit mode, we might just put a load, select the lot, right click, 1, I'm going to turn that off first, and I'd recommend the same. 1, 2, 3. Let's just make it like well subdivided. Put that on 3 before you turn it back on, just in case your computer blows up. Let's have a look. Do we need to make the scale less? For what's that going to do? Slow the computer down. Okay, I think I might just lower the scale. What's the easiest way to do this, because everything's connected? Probably with a vector math at the top here. I think this is going to work. Shift right click, so we connect all them, and we're going to put Shift A, vector math, drop that in the middle, change this to scale, and let's put that number up and see if it works. Yeah, it works. I mean, we can really clearly see now what I meant about the mask. That it's, you know, you can see the mask. It's obviously black or white here, and the rest is not. And that looks better. But what I can think now is that there is too much strength on those bits, and those bits could probably be do with being bigger. So remember, that's the mask. We don't need that. If you Control X, if you select a node or pip, press Control X, it will delete it without disconnecting. Because if you just pressed X, it would disconnect from here. And I want bigger bits. So if we lower the scale of this, because if we Control Shift click this, we'll see exactly what it's doing. You know, these white bits, I suppose, are where it's allowing one of the colours to come through. Control Z, or one of the displacement filters to come through. So we're just going to make that bigger by taking that down to 0.3. And maybe take the scale down of the little one as well, which is here. Oh, hang on, it's been mixed twice. We want the little one. Hang on, how many have I mixed in here? Okay, let me just check the scale. So that 1.5, that's the big one, that's the little one. It's on 3, so let's just take that down to 1.3. Nope. 2. Yeah, and then we'll lower the strength of these chunky bits, which is with and this is the big rocks. So we'll take that down to 4, 3. Maybe we'll need more of those bits. So I'm going to go back to the mask, and I know I'm going to allow a bit more of one of the other in. So if I drag this, we should get bigger bits, or it's going to be the other way. It's this way, okay. And then let's just bring them closer again so I can double check. And that's probably too many big bits. So drag that over. And then maybe bring the contrast a bit closer. And what's useful is with this object is that it will, if we scale it on the Y or the X, it will follow. So let's say we wanted longer rocks, so we could just press S, Y, Y, scale, not that much, and then you'll stretch the rocks as well, see? Which actually I think works. Works quite well for this. Yeah, that'll do the job. 22 minutes! Blimey! Well, that's a good spot to end this one. I guess when we come back, we'll just edit this shape and make it a bit more like what we need. And then we'll start putting things in. Okay, that was a little bit longer, and it's a little bit complex. But again, it's all very logical. Everything's logical, and if you've done the procedural rock tutorial, you've already got at least most of that. This is just the addition. So, okay. I'll see you in the next one then, shall I? Wicked. Bye!